Don't freak out, ladies and gentlemen. We are live with Sheldon Gallegos. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Cash. That's Sheldon right there. He's the owner of Gallegos Paving, and you are in the middle of another installment of Grow Yourself. I want to make sure I get all my stuff on the screen for everybody so that everybody understands what they're getting into as we begin a discussion. And this is actually an exciting time for me because this is my second year in business. By the way, dude, you know what? Before we do get into the discussion, this segment is being sponsored by Gallegos Paving.
Paving the way to your dreams.
See? And you thought you were going to be nervous, man. But one of the cool things that's we've been able to do with Gallegos Paving is we've been able to get this studio and really start building, and that's what today's episode is all about. It's a lot about what you do in business, Sheldon, and we'll get into that here. But if this is your first time tuning in, this is Grow Yourself, brought to you by Laredo. And Grow Yourself is an entrepreneurial, self-development, self-help live stream that happens on Facebook that seeks to touch and reach out to different individuals in the community who have really taken that leap of faith in entrepreneurship, who have believed in themselves so much, believed in their dreams. And you're one of those individuals, Sheldon, because, I mean, you've gone through the struggles of entrepreneurship, what it's like, you know, starting your own business. And
still going through the struggles.
You're still going through it.
I don't think it ever stops.
You're not lying, bro. You're not lying. So for everybody out there that might not know who you are or what your business is, what do you do?
Yeah, so I started Gallegos Paving 2012, and we started off kind of like a service all type of business. We would do anything from like small parking restorations to knocking down fences and I mean anything that would get us paid. And little by little, we went growing to one machine, and I was able to hire a couple guys. And then we did a little bit of a pivot to start getting into some more site work, dirt moving, actual parking construction from ground up. Then we got into some site work where we were doing building pads, warehouse pads. And then eventually I made that jump to what I really wanted to do now, which is kind of taking the land development idea from just an idea on a piece of paper to actual infrastructure, water, sewer, storm, roads. So pretty much that's where our business has gone in these past couple of years.
And like for anybody that's new to that word, land development, or even construction, when you're starting to get into the commercial side of things, ladies and gentlemen, there is a big process that goes into it, and I'm not even in it, but just from having conversations with people like yourself, I mean, just to get water from from one part of a piece of land to another that doesn't have water, it's significant amount of work, right?
I mean, people think that it's, when they go and they buy a house, that the land was, pretty much already like that. No. I mean, we take absolute raw land and we run water lines or sewer lines, thousands and thousands and thousands of feet sometimes, just so, 2 or 3 buildings can have service. The idea of making an area livable for people or workable for people isn't just as like, oh, okay, fine, I'm going to hire a contractor, put my building up, and then, I'm going to start, my business or my home. No, it actually takes a lot of engineering. It takes a lot of coordination with the city. It takes a lot of financing with your banker. It takes a lot of coordination and communication with me, your contractor, or if there's actually somebody erecting a building, somebody who's actually orchestrating the whole process. It's not just like oh, well, I like those 2 acres, I'm going to try and build something on it and hopefully I'll make some money. I wish it was that simple, and if it was, everybody would do it. But no, there is some finesse and some discipline, and more than anything, some vision to what it is that you want to do.
And you touched on a few things, man, because like that, to me, vision. So tell me a little bit about that, because when vision to me is a dream, right? It's something that I see in my eyes that nobody else can see. When I talk about vision, right? Hypothetically, we all know what vision is, but to me, when I hear that word vision, I'm thinking I've got this grandiose plan in my head, but there's really nothing in front of me.
Yeah. I think for most people, whenever you talk about vision, they kind of get, I don't want to say like intimidated, but they get confused, because they say like, man, I just, I want to get there, but I just can't see it, and I can't, kind of put it into like a picture. It's just as simple as like, I'm in this point in my life right now, whether it's punching in 9 to 5, or whether it's in school, or whether it's, stuck in your mom's basement, you want to get out, you just don't know how, or, even me or like you've been in the game for a while, and guys that have been in the game for a longer time than us. It's as simple as just being able to have an idea of what you want to do, and kind of, I guess just knowing that the situation that you're in, it can be better, and it's just really that simple,
right?
And taking the first step to getting to that place is absolutely like super key, because I mean, to where I am now, I kind of thought like, okay, well, I don't want to be doing what I'm doing forever, and at that point it was, let's just say I had 1 piece of equipment and 2 employees, which was, I was very happy doing that. It was very like, it was a very humbling experience, and it was very I guess it was part of the process for me. But I knew that I eventually wanted to get into this certain aspect of the industry, and I knew that I wanted to get into that aspect of the industry, and I knew that eventually I wanted to stop renting of machines and start building equity into machines. So I kind of just knew that all of those I needed to connect all those little dots. Now, I mean, that's all fine and dandy, and I can paint you this beautiful picture, and I can show you, Cash, man, you see all these 40 machines, and you see my 100 employees, and you're going to be like, yeah. But if I don't take that first step to do it, then, I mean, it's pretty worthless.
Right. Ideas and vision are worthless without taking actual steps. And I'm glad you mentioned that word, because taking the first step really is something that that's the only way. If you have this idea in your head, anything, maybe it's starting your own business, maybe it's jumping ship from one job or one career to the other, because you're unhappy doing what you do, or like you mentioned, maybe you're a student and you need to, in order to get that degree, you have to take that class that you really don't want to take, or whatever. In your case, it was actually just taking that step with all connecting the dots.
Yeah,
it's baby steps and patient. What's that journey like, dude? Or what was it like for you? Because I think for a lot of us, we hear entrepreneurship, we hear I'm gonna be a business owner, I'm gonna be kicking it on a beach somewhere. That's yeah. I'm gonna be like, I don't have to worry about my business. Like, somebody else will take care of it. Yeah. Or my employees will take care of it. But it's the complete opposite. Is that a fair assessment on your end?
I mean, absolutely. No one's gonna care about your business the way that you do. And this idea that like some people have, it's like, I'm gonna claw my way to the top. Like I was saying earlier, I'm gonna break necks and cash checks, and I'm gonna leave my business to my manager, and I'm gonna go, sail the 7 seas. Like, that doesn't happen, man. Like, your name's still on the door. Something goes wrong, you're the one getting sued. Something, you want to expand a division of your business, you're going to have to put up the financing. Like, people are buying you, and that is the thing that most entrepreneurs have to understand. Like, you can have a great product, and you can have all your ducks in a row, and you can have, good work ethic and, strong financials, but if people don't believe in you, David Cash Vasquez, I mean, it's all pretty much moot, because your customers are, I mean, just in my experience, have enjoyed the relationship that we've built, the trust that we've built. And yeah, there's been times where you just don't click with a customer, or you just your personality doesn't click with somebody's personality, like, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Or you get wronged, or you might do someone wrong unintentionally, and I mean, that's all a part of the journey. But most people have to understand is that you really have to be a grounded person in who you are, believe in who you are, and more importantly, you have to you have to be likable. And by being likable, it's just not being like a cool person or a nice guy or somebody you want to have beer with, but somebody that, like, somebody who wants to do business with you, somebody who you can talk to and feel comfortable with, and somebody that you can kind of open up to and be genuine with. And that's what really, I think that's what really sets a lot of early starters apart.
Yeah, I think you're right, man, because in the business, in the car business, I spent some time in the car business for a long time, and that's where I got a lot of my sales. I've always been a salesman. Yeah. I've always sold something, you know what I mean? Whether I was selling my radio personality, or my what I sell now, which is our service from Laredo. But when I was in the car game, it wasn't really about selling cars, man. Yeah. And there was a saying in the car business is sell the sizzle, not the steak. Yeah. And the sizzle is you individually are the sizzle when it comes to your own personal development. You're absolutely right. Yeah, man. You have to be likable. You have to like build value on yourself. Like, you have to make yourself sort of just as valuable as the products and services that you sell. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, think about it. I mean, every car has 4 tires and goes front and back. Right. What's the difference between you and the next guy? And that question is what you want to answer for your client.
Absolutely, bro. Man,
I've always said, dude,
man, you're schooling these people today. No, man, this is great stuff.
I've always said, I mean, my wife's in the room. We're expecting our first child March 9th. And I don't know where I got this.
Congratulations,
thanks, by the way, brother. Bro. I appreciate that. I've always, I don't know where I got this, because I know, I mean, I'm not smart or creative enough to think about it, but I know I got this from somewhere. But I've always said, like, a summer job for our son when he's 16, 17, used car salesman. And I'm talking used car salesman, dude, like cash only places, like
I've done that.
Like, they're still selling like 90s models. Shady. You don't know who.
I've been a part of some crazy things in the car business.
If you could sell those cars, dude, that's it. You've got it.
Well, I think one of the things that, while a lot of times, the car sales and car dealerships might get a bad rap, I will tell you this, that every person that I worked with at the dealership, 99% of them show up to work with a purpose. Oh yeah. Like, all of those sales guys and sales girls that I would work with would all show up on a daily basis with a purpose. And sometimes that was the difference maker, man. That was a difference maker from the next guy who sold 3 cars on one day, and a guy that didn't sell anything. Was that dude showed up. Yeah. You know what I mean? He woke up in the morning, he looked at himself in the mirror, and he said, "You know what? Today's my day, man. Today I'm gonna." And not only that, dude, it's showing up to work, happy, grateful. Because Jerry, I had Jerry Schwebel on here, man, from IBC Bank, and it was crazy because he's a banker but the dude told me one thing that stuck out, and one thing that also stuck out, one saying that he had, that another guy, my buddy Neto in the car business, also told me. Every morning would show up and he would say, attitude is everything. And your attitude, Jerry told me the same thing. He said, attitude is everything. Well, and the thing that means is basically, if you have a crappy attitude, it's really going to translate into... it's going to transfer over to your customer or the other people that you're dealing with. And so if you have a crappy attitude, you're going to have right now, if I had I don't know about this, Sheldon.
Well, I mean, It's weird, man, because most people that I've found who have that attitude, those are the people that have like a real tough time just getting out of bed in the morning. You get me?
Right.
Like you're like this word that you're touching on, like purpose. I think that's where probably 80% of people that I come across either can't keep it together in the business, so they get out, or they just can never get into it because they just can't find like their purpose, you know. Like, it's weird, man. It's really weird because a lot of guys my age right now, they talk about, like, you know, they throw these words out like the hustle, and they throw these words out like la feria and all this stuff, like all these things that, like, you know, yeah, you just kind of get turned off by it because it's kind of like, dude, that's all fine and dandy, man, but you know, your purpose should be a lot higher than just, you know, the hustle and, you know, the grind and making feria. Like, no, dude, your purpose should really be about making people's lives better, you know, creating jobs, contributing to the city that you're growing in, that you're growing your family in, you know, contributing to the economy, and just being like a good person,
right?
You know, I mean, I think that's where most people kind of lose.
Yeah, because it's very easy to get caught up in like the materialistic aspect of entrepreneurship, which is, you know, cars, clothes, and
oh yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that if you can afford it.
No,
you know,
no, but I think that a lot of times
most people
that's what
can't get started.
I think, you know, like even for me, man, like just the journey has been more like, at you know, at one point when I started the business, that's what I was always focusing on. It's like, you know, it was always a materialistic.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times we want that materialistic freedom, meaning, you know what, I don't want to worry about money.
Yeah.
And you know what, I don't want to worry about having to pay bills, and I don't want to worry about this, that, and the other, right? Like, it was always a materialistic base, instead of what you just said right now is, how do I make my community better? Yeah. How do I help people? Mm-hmm. Because I think through that, through service, you're going to find that, man, I can't tell you that this is something, gratitude and being grateful for changing my attitude.
Yeah, man.
About business has really just changed my whole direction in terms of, now my goals aren't even I mean, obviously, you know, they're I do have some you know, financial goals, but my goals now are even greater than that. It's more like, dude, how do I live a long freaking healthy life? Yeah. How do I you know, spend more time with my kids? Mm-hmm. How do I take care of my wife and make sure that she's rewarded for, you know, holding our family together? So like, those are my goals, right? And then like, you right now, you're about to be a dad, like, yeah. And so though I think that's, for me, been the biggest transition in terms of what I've learned through starting my own business. So what have you learned in terms of what you,
oh man,
like one thing that really kind of sticks out, that you know, you started your business maybe with one mindset, but now,
yeah, I guess really the one thing that really, like, I've learned like the absolute hard way, is that it's okay, and this is like the most cliche thing in the entire world, but I mean, I guess it's the most cliche thing for a reason, but like, it's okay to fail. Like, it's perfectly fine. Like, dude, I can't tell you the situations that I've gotten myself into that I've had to claw myself out of. And I'm talking like spiritually, emotionally, physically, financially, even from like from a whether, you know, do I still want to do this type of way? And like, if you have the ability to just kind of beat yourself up, forgive yourself, dust yourself off, and keep going, like, you'll be just fine. Because there's really, man, it's just, we live in such a good country to do business in, is that there's avenues and there's mechanisms for you to keep going, even if you, like, I mean, even if you fuck up, like, and that's just the truth. Like, you can get yourself into, you know, you can get yourself into some trouble. And, you know, there's good people out there that really just genuinely want to help you. And that's like another big thing, is that, you know, I always thought of the business community like it's like this vicious, you know, arena, which it is. I mean, it's not easy. It's not by any means it's not friendly, you know. I mean, you will find good people out there, but for the most part, you know, people want their products, they want it done on time, they want it within budget. They, you know, people, I mean, it's, you're messing with people's livelihoods, so it can get messy. But the other thing that I've really learned is that there are like genuinely like really good people out there. Like my mentor is genuinely like a good person, wants nothing from me other than to just see me do well out of like pure like unbiased just love for like what we've been able to accomplish together. And the way he's kind of, because I mean, a lot of people get mentored by the wrong person, and because they think like, oh, you know, that guy did things really well, like I want to, you know, I want to get mentored by him or by her, or, you know, whatever. Like I chose somebody who I just trusted wouldn't, I mean, it sounds simple, but it is. I just found somebody who I knew wouldn't gear me in the wrong way, or gear me in the wrong, you know, the wrong direction, steer me in the wrong direction. So that's another thing that I've learned. Like the people that, you know, my banker's also a family friend, awesome guy. My mentors, dude, you know, he's, man, I owe him my entire life. People that, you know, help the company with legal stuff. I mean, you know, we text like friends and stuff. So like there is a good, and even people outside of, you know, who I deal with, other people that have been in the construction industry before me, like I talk to them and they have give me all the advice that I want. They share all their experiences with me absolutely free of charge. Nothing, they want nothing from me other than to see me do well. So I guess, I mean, I know you asked me for one thing, but I gave you two. But failing is okay. There's nothing wrong with it. You are gonna fail. I actually have this like weird little, like our company's comptroller, he has a little business. He just started moving some trucks, and I like whenever he has like that good moment, like, oh man, I was able to solve a problem today, I was like, dude, enjoy that, because tomorrow's probably gonna suck. You know, like,
enjoy the little victories.
Yeah, so those little victories, man, they're real, and those little victories, surprisingly enough, man, it's kind of like baseball. You know, if you get on base 3 times, you're batting 300.
Right.
But you had to have messed up 7 times, you know, 3 times out of 10. So it's really like that. It really is. And the other thing is that there are really good people out there. Really good people who just want to see others succeed. They have to believe in you first, because if you're just out there and, hey, let's have a meeting in the morning, and you're showing up an hour late and you're hungover and you don't know what you're talking about, I mean, chances are they're going to drop you like a bad habit. But
right.
If you can stay disciplined enough and focused enough and determined enough, you'll do well. I mean, it's really, I mean, I think people just overthink this too much.
I think you touched on a couple of things, man, and one of the big things that I've learned also has been to, because you touched on mentorship, and you also talked about people who want to help you, and I think one of the important things to realize is that the people you affiliate with, the people you surround yourself with, you also mentioned this, you know, this perception of the business community from people who may not necessarily be in business, or may not necessarily have the same vision as a lot of the business community does. Because when you start to roll with people who want to be greater and be greater individuals, not necessarily materialistic and all this stuff, but just great individuals, right? And you start talking to these people, it's that mindset. It's a lot of what you're saying right now comes out. How do I help people? It's okay to fail, you know. And when you start to get around people like that, and you start to move away from others that are like, nah, man, that's never gonna work. And nah, man, I don't know about. And everything is no. You start to learn that, man, you can accomplish anything. And so mentorship is big.
Yeah, dude. I actually just, and I don't mean to cut you off. I just don't want to lose my train of
go
thought.
ahead.
I actually just did a show with Alejandra Argindigi from Casa Yoga.
Yeah.
And one of the topics that we talked about, like in length, I mean, I think it took up about a quarter of our hour, but in length we talked about community and how how big it is. I mean, how like it is probably, I don't know, if there was a percentage of the importance of every aspect of the business world, if there was if I could put a percentage on it, community is probably, I don't know, 80% important, because, you know, most people in your life are going to tell you, like, no, you can't do that, or, ah, man, that's tough, or, oh, you know, I wouldn't really get into that. And people, like, and they are your friends, they are your parents, they are your aunts, your uncles, they are your bosses. You know, like, if you tell your boss, hey, man, I'm thinking of, you know, I've learned a lot here, I'm thinking of going and opening a little side company, not to compete with you, but, you know, I might have some other, like, another little network, whatever. Oh, the first thing is, oh, no, man, you don't want to do this. You know, you don't know what it's like to put up with the cash flow, and to be paying your taxes, and to be, you know, chasing down clients, and getting paid, the hardest thing, getting paid. And then, I mean, your parents, right? Your parents are, they're usually the ones who have protected you your entire life. So when you tell them, hey, I'm thinking of leaving my job to do this, or I'm thinking of taking a part-time job to start at this, their first instinct is most likely going to be like, no. You know, you have security, you have a good thing going on. Don't do that. I mean, you know, maybe go back to school, right? That's always the first one. Go back to school, and then you can, you know, apply for a job that's gonna, you know, give you more money, or whatever the case may be. And right, the camaradas always dogging you, like, you know, in the carne asada, nah, you can't do that, you know, nah, whatever. The crab bucket, right? Well, wants to get out, and nah, come back here.
The crab syndrome.
Exactly. So community is huge, man. And we were talking about how simple it is just to step outside of your community and find something, and how quickly you will feel the effect of being surrounded by positive people who just either have the same drive that you do, they have the same vision that you might have, they like, you know, you just kind of, you can open up a little bit more, you're not afraid to be sharing your ideas, you're not afraid to be, you know, kind of piggybacking off of, you know, what they've already experienced. And it's simple, I mean, it's going to mile one. I mean, I haven't been there, but I hear it's a real great network to go out there and start talking to business community. Get in a Rotary, right? A lot of people in the business community are Rotaries. Dude, go to a gym, you know, go to yoga. I mean, I went to yoga right now before coming here, and I probably saw about 15 people that are in the business community, just either doing something small or doing something really big, but they're in it, you know, they're in it. So yeah, I'll be the first to tell you. And like, I'm looking right at this camera. Like, if your community sucks, leave it, and leave it like that. Like, don't even think about it, because there is nothing to me worse, like, for an entrepreneur or somebody who wants to be an entrepreneur, than having the people who love you be the ones to pull you down. Like, that is unacceptable. Like, you need to get out of that community, go find another one, better yourself, and then go better that previous community.
You need to find people to lift you up.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, bro, I'm gonna be honest, it can be, I say that there's negativity everywhere. There is energy vampires everywhere.
'Cause it's easy.
And you have to, bro, you have to recognize that. And you have to, and it might be the people that you most love.
Yeah, and that's where it hurts, because you're thinking, like, man, you know, these people or this person's supposed to be the one kind of steering me and pushing me and all this stuff. And they're the ones that are just like, nah, man, don't do that, because, you know, you can get hurt. You know, the stove's hot, you know. Well, what if it's not, you know?
And one of the things that I think a lot of people miss a lot of times, and it may not, negativity and this sort of, you know, thing that's holding you back doesn't come in the form of human beings. It comes in the form of your timeline. And you're scrolling and you're scrolling and you're scrolling, and then you're looking at people talking shit about whatever, and it continues and it continues. And one of the easiest examples is, you know, our political climate, right? And so all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're scrolling and you're scrolling and you're scrolling, and you keep on feeding yourself, and you're feeding your mind that, and you're feeding your body that, and it really does take a toll on your energy. And so you have, I mean, I think you have to recognize that.
Stay off Twitter, whatever you do. That's a dark place.
Well, and not just that, bro. It's like every medium.
Yeah.
Or even what you watch. Like even like news. Like, yeah, we have to stay informed, and yeah, we have to make sure we're actively engaged in our community. But man, if you catch yourself watching, like, man, even, you know, whether it's right wing, left wing, centrist, whatever, man, these things will drain you, bro.
Damn, man, just opened up a can of worms for me. So
I know.
Yeah, so like I completely stopped watching like CNN and Fox News and CBS and all stuff because, I mean, I'm not bashing on journalism or anything, but there's like such a like hostile climate right now politically, is that, you know, if you turn on CNN, it's like you know, the Dow closed at God knows what today, like you know, I think there was just like a positive job numbers in January, but those are skewed numbers, they're likely lower. Economists say that we're in for another recession. You know, the president's not handling this well. There's a trade war, and you're thinking like, oh my God, like this thing's about to hit the fan.
They're uploading you with fear,
I can't leave my job. And then you turn on Fox News, and it's like the stock market is surging. You know, the banks, you know, the Feds aren't gonna raise the interest rate anymore. You know, you can go out and borrow money and all this, you know, and this president's the best thing that's ever happened. So you're just like, you know, which way do I go? But yeah, you need to drown that out. Like, completely just drown all that crap out. Don't listen to them. Like, I'm not saying that it's fake news. I will never call anybody's profession fake or not. Do I trust them? No. But that's just my 2 cents. But yeah, turn that off and go talk to your local banker, somebody who has like a pulse for what's going on locally. Go talk to the guy at the Chamber of Commerce. See how many businesses, or you know what, go to TAMIU and go to that business center. That's awesome.
TAMIU Small Business Development Center.
2 thumbs up. Awesome. They'll do a market study for you for free. They'll give you a small idea of like the pulse of what it is that you want to get into, and that's a real more accurate bit of information that you'll get as to listening to the bozos like on network TV. Like they don't care about Sheldon Gallegos wanting to start a small business. All they care about is pushing whatever agenda they want to push and reporting, you know, national, international news. Like, get out there and go knock on some local doors if that's what you want to do.
And knocking on doors, I think, because I mean, I know we could talk a lot about that, but I want to shift gears a little bit. Knocking on doors, doing the research, doing the work, and then finding out, you know what, this is hard as hell, dude. This is not as easy as it seems. And then getting discouraged and not moving forward. Because you run into a little obstacle and and objections. And so for you, how do you overcome objections in terms of, you know, hard times? When you run into hard times, how do you stay motivated, dude?
How do I stay motivated? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good one. Number one is, I mean, she's sitting about 20 feet away from me. So, I mean, now I have a family, you know, like now like my purpose from, you know, one-man show entrepreneur has, like, now I have like my community. Now I have my family. Now I have people depending on me, and not just depending on me financially. Like, that's just a reward for how should I say this? Like, that's just a mechanism to keep my company growing and to keep my family sustained. But I think the how should I say this? I guess the idea that I've already, I guess, manifested in myself and I've already, you know, come to terms with is that this is just my purpose. That's what keeps me going. Like, that's what really, like, this is who I am. Like, I am a dot connector. I am a bridge builder. I am I don't want to say pillar of the community, but I am somebody who's been, you know, through the hamster wheel enough to where I can make something happen. I can create it. And I think just knowing that I've taken the steps to be that person really, really kind of lets me get over certain hurdles, because to me it would just be a waste or not a waste, it would be just sad for me just to kind of let all these experiences and all of these I guess relationships and all of these just good things I've been through in my life, just put them aside because I ran into a tough time. Like, to me, I don't think I'd be able to be comfortable like in my own skin. You get me? Because it is hard, and it does take a lot of energy, and it does weigh on you physically. I mean, and emotionally, and I mean, I'm by spiritually I don't mean like religiously or anything. By spiritually I mean just the idea of being able to close your eyes, think, meditate of who you really are. Like, if you let these hurdles just kind of get the best of you, you'll really lose touch of, you know, your journey and who your journey's been kind of making you, and the way your this whole ideas of entrepreneurship has been molding you. And you don't, I mean, I just wouldn't want that to happen, you know.
I think you touched on several points, but I think one of the things that really sticks out is that the investment of love, blood, sweat, tears, the investment, and not just by you.
Yeah. No, my family.
By others.
Yeah, they believe in me, you know?
Right.
They believe
by
in me.
Your mentor.
Yeah.
And by your associates and people that you work with. And so I guess my point and what we were trying to get to was, you know, when you run into these obstacles, and you have to keep those things in your mind. You have to keep them in front of you, sort of like that. It's sort of like your vision, you know, your vision board, and you have all these things on your vision board, or your list of goals, and you look at that, and you should have that sort of in your, like, dead center, because you're gonna run into problems, you're gonna run into challenges.
But it's fun, dude. Like, it really is fun. I promise you, it's the weirdest thing in the world, because it's kind of like being comfortable. It's being comfortable while being uncomfortable. And you know that, you know, you have to go ask for help. And you know that, you know, tomorrow's going to be a little more challenging than today. And you know that there's a chance that you might not get out of it whole.
Right.
But just because you didn't get out of it whole didn't mean that you didn't get out of it.
Right.
You get me?
Right.
Like, that's the fun part. Like, the suspense is what you should really be chasing. If you're just, I mean, and I'm not knocking on absolutely anybody. Everybody has a purpose in this world. But, you know, how boring would it be just like, you know, building this pen every day. You know, and you build a pen and you build it. It has to get built, and that person serves a purpose. I'm not knocking that. But I'm saying, you know, if you're afraid of the hurdles, like, dude, don't. Like, they're fun, and yeah, it sucks, and it's challenging, and it, you know, it kind of, it's like a double-edged sword, right? But when you get out of it, you can look back and really be like, damn, how the hell did I do that?
Do you think everybody is an entrepreneur?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's just human nature. Like, it is absolute human nature. We just don't even realize it. Like, you are in a constant state of survival. Like, your body tells you you're hungry. You know, people who have like depression and anxiety and all that stuff, their minds are constantly looking for something wrong, because we're problem solvers, we're fixers. Like, that's just by nature what we are. We needed to get something from point A to point B, we invented a wheel. You know, we needed to cook a piece of meat so we wouldn't die of salmonella, so we started a fire. You know, by nature we are problem solvers, we are fixers, and we enjoy rewards. Right? Like, why do people go out and practice their ass off to play basketball or football or whatever? Because they want to win a game.
Right.
Because they want that reward. Why do people work? You know, just the idea of working, right? Why go out every day to a job where you have to create something to get a reward? Yeah, like, the simplistic way of looking at it is because I need money. But if you really, really think about it, it feels so much better to do it right and to get more money. So, right. You know, like, that right there is your survival instinct to, like, oh, wait a minute, I did more, I get more money. So let me keep doing something else,
and
let me do something else. Right. Let me keep doing something else. So by nature, like we are all entrepreneurs because I mean, an entrepreneur creates and gets rewarded for what they create. Like it's very simple.
Right.
But I think the social construct, especially right now, is that we see too much of this overnight success, or what we perceive as overnight success.
Right.
That, oh man, I can't do that. And all of a sudden, boom. And then your community might suck. And then you might be, you know, not exercising, which I just now got back into because I saw how important it is. So you might feel like shit every day. And, you know, it just becomes like a little bit of a constant cycle.
Right.
But I guess just to answer your question, like, yeah, man, everybody's an entrepreneur. I mean, it's human nature, really. I mean, I believe it's human nature.
In order to be successful, anybody, you have to remove limits.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you want to have limits, but like risk adverse limits. You don't want to say like, oh well, you know, I've got you know, I made $10,000 on this deal, so I'm gonna go, you know,
spend
it all on this and see if the next deal is gonna do better. It's like, wait a minute, man. You know, like, you know, kind of make a more calculated risk. But as far as I think I know what you mean. As far as like, you can't have any limits when it comes to like your mind and body. Like you can't. Like, yeah, like financial limits, of course. You always want to be making sure that you're making good investments and managing your money well. And then like how much time you put in the office. Like I like to go home and spend time with my wife, and I like to go to the gym, and we built a home gym so I can be at home more. So I like to do that. I like to play tennis. Like, yeah, you have to put like, you know, limits on for your time. But when it comes to like actual limits, like where and how far being an entrepreneur is going to push you, like you have to be ready to really be testing those limits, because there are some days where, you know, you just really don't want to go to work, but you have to get out of bed. Get out of bed. That is, just get out. Just, that's the first step. Get out, and then go fix your problem, and then, you know, and let it suck. I mean, get beat up, you know, cry. It's okay. Yell. You know, I can't take this. Yeah, exactly. But then once that's over, you know, just take a deep breath, meditate. If you can start doing it, it's a great practice. It's awesome. It's not this whole kumbaya stuff. It's not like that at all. It's a very good way to search for peace, man. Yeah, dude. It's a good way. I'm gonna hook you up with an app later. I promise you. It's a very good way to search. Try it. It's a good way to search for peace. It's a good way to just, you know, get back into the moment, because like I said, dude, we're problem solvers by nature. So you're always thinking 3, 4, 5, 6 days, months ahead, and you forget, like, hold on, dude, I'm here. Like, this is now, and this is what's important. Yeah, plan for the future, that's fine, but take action here so you can get there.
Absolutely. And you touched on one of the last points that I want to touch on, and it is discipline. Getting out of bed.
Yeah.
Getting out of the house, sending that email, making that phone call,
meeting that
doing stuff, you know, that is going to benefit your business, doing, you know, when you don't want to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, man. That's, I mean, I struggle with, let's see, I probably struggle with, oh man, no, I probably struggle more than anything with like financial discipline, because, you know, like there's, I see these things, I'm just like, I come to the office and I'm just like, oh man, I really want to buy that, you know, like, and it's stuff for the office, right? Like a truck, or like a, you know, stuff for, you know, stuff that we could use outside. And my comptroller's completely opposite. I mean, I think the dude still has like his baptism money, and he's just like, no, dude, we can't do that now. Calm down. So, you know, it works out well. You know, I found my counter. But as far as the discipline that you're talking about, yeah, dude.
No, but it may very well be that. It may be financial discipline. It may be investing in something that you really don't want to invest in because you know you have to invest in that. Or it may be spending time with people you don't necessarily like, but you know that you have to spend time with them because you know what I mean, because there's a benefit
to it,
for not only for yourself but for your business, but also because I mean, and nobody's rocking with this person, but I'm gonna rock with them because I want to help them, or it may just be keeping your resolution, going to the gym, keeping that promise. Like, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, yeah. So I think most people get undisciplined, and it's not because they don't want to, but they're just afraid of the outcome. You get me? Like, let's just say, and aside from that, I really, really think that people read too many of those, business books where it's like, on Monday you need to make a list of 20 people you're going to contact, and on Tuesday you need to go knock on 30 doors. It's like, dude, like, I don't even think I know like 30 people whose doors I can go knock on, like, take it easy. Like, you really need to simplify it. Like, you need to simplify it. You need to do things that are doable. If you could go knock on 3 doors a day, go wake up in the morning and say, okay, I'm going to go knock on 3 doors today. Like, start small, like, do things that are very attainable. But I think the first thing that people do is that they get real riled up about their idea, and they start, really like, I'm going to start reading the book, and I'm going to start doing this, and I'm going to buy an agenda, and I'm going to fill that agenda. And it's like, well, wait a minute, man. You don't even, you haven't even done the simplest thing of like meeting somebody who can help your business, and you're already making all these like plans.
Right.
So I think that, I think that's that's probably the biggest thing. The other thing is, I think people need to stop worrying about what other people think. So let's just say, I mean, I only have my case, right? Like, so let's just say somebody wants to start getting into like a little bit of like concrete work. Oh my God, I have the perfect example. So some guy, he's an Aggie, gig 'em baby. He's an Aggie, and he kept on like reaching out to me about wanting to come and offer services, but he never came. You get me?
Yeah.
He's like, hey man, I really, I'm an Aggie also, I see what you're doing. I think it's awesome. I do some concrete work. I'd really like to meet you. And I would say like, yeah, man, just let me know whenever. And nothing. So like the attempt was there,
Yeah.
But
the vision was there.
But the discipline to take that step wasn't there. And I think that's another area where people get stuck, is that, they go out, they meet a couple people, 3 people turn them down, and they say, well, shit, no one's gonna, no one wants my service, or no one wants to follow me. It's like, no, we'll go meet another 3 people. I mean, it goes back to the baseball thing. If you can, out of 10 people you meet, if you can get potential clients out of 3, I mean, you're batting 300.
Right.
So I think that's the other thing. I think it's people just afraid of the outcome. Like, right, the intent is there, the vision might be there, but they're just afraid of the outcome, whether it might be failure, or, I mean, I've even heard some people say like, it's because I'm afraid of what can happen. What if they do say yes? What the hell am I supposed to do then? I've heard of that. And then
I'm afraid of success. I'm afraid of money.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what if I get the client? It's like, well, then you just you go along with it and see what happens.
Just pretend like the job. Richard Branson said it.
Fake it till you make it,
man.
Fake
it till you make it,
exactly.
Man. To take the job and then learn how to do the job when you get the job.
Yeah, I mean, and for people that are reading those self-help business books, I'm not knocking on them. I still listen to some stuff every once in a while. But yeah, like if your business book, when you pick it up and the first thing they tell you is, make a list of 10 things you got to do in one day, like, just throw that shit away and pick something up that's going to simplify it, and pick something up that's going to make you really, really question not just your business or your business acumen, or, this is how the 10 top richest people in the world got rich. Like, no, read something who's really going to question like who you are, like what you have here and what you have here, and how you can make these 2 things become one, because that's hard. what this wants and what this wants is two totally different things. But if you can find a book or somebody who can kind of bridge that together, you'll find that making decisions and kind of getting started on your what's going to become your daily routine, as far as the discipline of finding clients, checking on cash flow, meeting up with your accountant to study financials, in some cases catching up with your lawyer, you'll find that it just becomes a little easier because you're confident, and that's very, very key.
I can't tell you how inspired our conversation.
It's fun, man.
Dude.
Did we do an hour?
Just about. But I mean, I would, man. And we're not done, bro. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna touch base again. But yeah, I think one of the key things, starting off the year with this episode of Grow Yourself, it was perfect because I think a lot of times we forget the fundamentals. What mindset is necessary to go into your next year of business or even start your business. We forget we forget about the discipline. We forget about our circle. We forget about what we're putting in our bodies. We forget about that. Without taking steps, our vision is no good. Our ideas will never see the day of light if we don't take those steps. And so I think a lot of what you touched on is what is absolutely necessary in starting a business. And that's why you've been in business as long as you've been, because I think you've acclimated to that you've made it a part of your process. And so it's exciting to see you, bro. I mean, I've seen you. I send you messages, man, and like, hey, yo, bro, I am proud of you, bro.
Yeah, like, man. Yeah, I remember you sent me one time on Christmas Eve, and just like real, just like, I'm proud of you, man. I saw some signs up, keep grinding. And I think I was actually going through a little bit of a tough time then. So, I mean, little things like that, they go a long way. They really, really do. If you're in a position that you have the ability to kind of reach out to somebody, even if it's somebody like you don't really talk to all the time. In this case, we do, but if somebody who came into your door, or somebody that's in your life that you just don't really talk to, and they're in the journey, just send them a little, hey, keep grinding, hope you're doing well, and that's it. It goes a very, very long way.
Yeah, dude. I guess if there's anything to take away today, but yeah, I mean, when you're done watching this, if anybody that gets this message is that, if you know somebody that's in business locally, go out and support them, whether it's buying their product or, sharing something that they share on Facebook, or just like Sheldon said, send them a nice little message, man. That stuff does go a long way, because it is a daily, I don't want to call it a struggle, but it's a daily grind. We wake up every day on a mission to try to be better individuals. And sometimes those little words of encouragement go a long way, man.
Yeah, and I guess the other thing is that I'm not perfect at all. Like, I'm not even close to being perfect, and we're growing, and we go through rough times a lot. We go through. I mean, we depend on cash flow just like everybody else. Like, I wish we were hoarding piles and piles of cash where, I can just be making it rain and all this stuff. Like, it's not reality. It's not true. Like, those things do happen, but they happen in the movies, or they happen to, other people, but not to me. If you're like on that verge of just wanting to throw yourself off the entrepreneur cliff and say, I'm out, like, give yourself a chance, especially if you're in your first 6 months. I think the government statistics are like 80% of businesses close in their first 6 months. Or their first year, I'm sorry. I don't think that people quit because they can't. I really believe that people think because they think they can't. And that is probably like the biggest thing that I've really, really been proud of myself, that I've been able to get comfortable with, is that, if you can make it every single day and still come out, maybe not whole, but you come out a little beat up, and you come out a little scarred, and you come out a little twisted, but if you can make it out, like, think about that you made it out of you know, every single day, that's one day closer that you'll be out of like that proverbial hole. So if you're like on that brink of you just want out, like don't do it. Like really, really give yourself a chance. There are good people out there. Give me a shout. I'll point you in the right direction. Just Google, you know, the business and call me here. Tell whoever answers if you watch the show. There are people who will help you. There are mechanisms out there to get you out of whatever situation that you're in that will cost you, if not anything, cost you very little money. And yeah, I mean, and if you're just absolutely upside down and there's no way out, just close the damn doors, go under and start another business and keep going. Like, there's no reason why you should stop. I mean, absolutely no reason. Just keep grinding, keep going. One of my godfathers, really, really good friends, told me this: just work hard, work smart, do things for the right reason. Very simple and very true. So yeah, don't do it. Keep going.
What's the name of the bambino? Is it boy, girl?
Baby Braulio. We saw him today. Braulio. He's happy, he's healthy. I'm thinking, oh man, I don't know. I'm thinking like, because my dad not this business, but he had a business like similar to mine, but just on a way larger scale. Back in the late 70s, 80s, and then 90s into the early 2000s. And he'd always tell me like, man, don't do this shit. So I always think like, man, am I gonna tell my son that? But yeah, no, I mean, if he likes it, he likes it, and if he wants to go do something else, then he's more than welcome to go do something else, as long as it's for the right reason, right? But yeah, man,
that's cool.
So man. March 9th, man, I'm excited to be, now I'm gonna have somebody else to kind of guide and somebody else to. You're
gonna be somebody's mentor for life, bro.
Yeah. So that's also been another thing that I talked about on a show with my mentor. It was our second show. Is that it's really the only thing that you leave behind if you think about it. Like, it really, really is. And
your legacy,
and if I go under, if you got to put me 6 feet under tomorrow, and I was able to just kind of talk to somebody on the show, whatever, and they say, yeah, man, I was going under, and Sheldon Gallegos talked about this, and he pointed me in the right direction, like, just automatically right there, like, you're immortal, dude. You lived forever. Yeah. And I think if you could really find like the beauty in that, like, you'll really, really want to share your life with other people as far as, from a business standpoint.
Yeah, dude, I'm super happy for you, man. I think you're going to be...
happy for us, man.
Yeah, dude. I think you're going to be an incredible dad.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Congratulations to you and your wife. And we wish you nothing but the best.
Likewise, my brother.
Sheldon Gallegos, everybody. Gallegos Paving. Thank you, bro.
No, man. Thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate having you on the show. And ladies and gentlemen, if you have not checked out Grow Yourself, this is an entrepreneur self-development live stream that takes place right here on Facebook. Make sure you like, share, and comment. Give us your feedback. I do want to thank Carlos and Big Lou for checking in and showing us some love today, and everybody else who has chimed in. So thank you to you guys. Also, a big thank you to our sponsors at Family Chevrolet, Family Nissan, who are proud sponsors of the entrepreneurial dream and journey, and to all of you for watching. From Gallegos Paving, we say goodnight and keep on growing yourself.
Crazy January at Family Nissan. There's just no other way to describe it. Come check out these closeout discounts. Titan, $11,500 off. Murano, $5,000 off. Everybody's favorite sedan, Altima, $5,000 off. Platinum Armadas, $10,000 off. Rogue, $5,000 off. And Pathfinder, $5,000 off. Also, on certain cars and trucks, 000. 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 90 days. Come to Family Nissan. Crazy January is happening now. At Family Chevrolet, we're kicking off the year with our biggest Silverado sell down. Now's the time to get into a 2018 Silverado and save up to $12,500 off MSRP and get 1 full year of Sirius XM. Or how about a 2019 Equinox? Save up to $4,500 off MSRP. Lease a 2018 Malibu for only $239 a month. Don't miss out on all these savings and more. Get into a Chevy and be assured you'll have one of the most reliable vehicles on the road. Stop by today.